Hello everyone, in this video we're going to take a look at the arithmetic paper from the 2023 Key Stage 2 SATs. So let's dive straight in. Now this paper is out of 40, there are 36 questions, that's because a few of them are worth 2 marks, but as usual guys we start off with some simpler questions and they get more tricky. Let's dive straight in. Question 1, 707 subtract 10. The small trick here is that there are no 10s, so we have to realise that this is actually the same as 70 10s. Now, what's 1 less 10 than 70? That would be 69 tens, and we get 697. This is one that we'd be encouraging you guys to be able to do in your head mentally. If you really wanted to, you could do a column subtraction, but it's not really necessary for this kind of question. Question 2 here, it doesn't matter that the answer box on the left makes no difference whatsoever. It's just testing our skills here when it comes to lining up digits correctly, because we have a 4-digit number plus a 3-digit number. Now, one of the biggest things I see, the most annoying way to lose a mark is when you don't look at this symbol properly. This says addition. Quite often we see children copying the numbers down and just changing the symbol for no good reason, doing some really good maths, but getting it wrong because they copied and did the wrong operation. 8 plus 6 is 14, 5 plus 3 is 8, plus 1 is 9, 1 plus 4 is 5, and then we have 6,000s come down. Now you could leave it like that and get a mark, but it's always good practice just to put it in the box given. Okay, so do that properly and copy those numbers carefully. 6,594. Question 3, 4 multiplied by 702. Again, you can write this down as short multiplication, no problem, and it should be quite straightforward. 2 times 4 is 8, 4 times nothing is still nothing, and 7 multiplied by 4 is 28, which goes straight into the box like that. 2, 8, 0, 8, easy mark, and we move on. 8,005 plus 408. Again, it's just best practice, guys, to write this out if you're remotely unsure. This is the kind of question some of you will be shouting at the screen saying, oh, I can do that in my head. I can add the 400, then I can add the 8. I know 8 plus 5 is 13. Of course, that's acceptable, but just err on the side of caution if you're at all unsure. You know how to do the column method. Just make sure you get the answer right. So 4 in the hundreds, 8 in the thousands, and once again, guys, we're just going to copy it into that box really carefully. Question 5, 2 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 30. When we're multiplying numbers like this, it doesn't matter which order we do it, but we just have to be systematic. 2 times 4 is 8 multiplied by 30. Once we have 8 times 30, we can use our times table facts. 8 times 3 is 24, but the question wasn't 8 times 3, it was 8 times 30. So we need to add our placeholder here to make our answer 10 times bigger. Question 6, 10 multiplied by 96. Anytime we're multiplying by 10, we're going to shift our digits up the place value chart. So here we have it in tens and ones. This is going to move one place up. 9 goes to the hundreds, 6 goes to the tens, and we put a placeholder on the end. Now you might be thinking, yeah, of course, just put a 0 on the end. That's easy, right? Well, you'll see when we multiply with decimals, it doesn't quite work just putting a 0 on the end. So it's always good to think of it as moving up and down the place value table. Question 7, a classic decimal question. In the first number, we have 1 decimal place. In the second number, we have 3. All we have to do here is make sure, and I always say this as a bit of a way to remember, it's important to button up the shirt. Buttons always go top to bottom vertically perfectly. So we have to line up our digits the same way with decimals. Make sure those decimals are one under the other. This is 6.953. And you can see there why it's so important we line these digits up correctly. We're going to add them in the thousandths column. There are just 3 thousandths, 5 in the hundredths. 8 plus 9 gives me 17, so exchange over. Not forgetting to put the decimal in the answer as well, so making sure that's really clear. 7 plus 6 plus 1, that's going to give us 14, and that's our answer, 14.753. That's the answer, making sure that we just don't do anything silly in these questions. 8,217 subtract 5,463. This is just a case of them testing your proficiency when it comes to column subtraction. Also, we've had a few additions now, making sure you actually subtract. Don't add it just because you're in the mood for adding. The question says subtract, okay? So 7 take away 3 is 4. 1 take away 6, it wants you to realize that that's not possible in this column subtraction. So we're going to exchange over from the hundreds column. 11 take away 6 is 5. Again, 1 take away 4, it's not 3. We're not finding the difference here. We have 100. Therefore, we don't have enough of them. We're going to exchange from the thousands. 11 take away 4 is 7. 7 take away 5 is 2. That's our answer, 2,754. Next one, question 9. 450 divided by 9. This is a case of using your times table facts. 45 divided by 9 is easy. 45 divided by 9 will give us 5. But, of course, it's 450. It's 10 times bigger. So our answer also must be 10 times bigger. So to get that correct, you can use your times table facts. But you have to correct it, guys. If it's 10 times bigger, do the same to the answer as well. Question 10. 65 multiplied by 8. Did it matter that I said it that way? No, it doesn't matter which way round we write multiplication questions. So this is just a case, again, of short multiplication, whacking it down on paper and making sure we're using 1 digit per box, nice and neat to get the correct answer. 8 fives are 40. 8 times 6 is going to give us 48, plus the 4 right there gets us to 52. And our answer here is 520. Lovely. Next one, question 11. 2,800 divided by 7. Again, we're using times table facts. 28 divided by 7. We would know that from our times tables, something we need to learn over the years at school. That gives us 4. So if it's 2,800, this is 2 placeholders here, 100 times bigger. So we have to take our 4 and make that 100 times bigger as well. Question 12, we're whizzing through. 801, subtract something equals 795. We're finding the difference here between 801 and 795. You could even count backwards for this. It's a jump of 1 to 800 and then another 5 backwards to 795. So we take off 6 for this answer here. Question 13, 2,700 divided by 3. It's another times table question. Look at it as 27 divided by 3. That would give us 9, but this is actually 100 times bigger. So the answer isn't 9, it is 900. They come up so much in these arithmetic papers, guys. You have to know your times tables. I promise you, it's the only way to get these questions consistently correct. Now, we've got the fraction here, 2/7 multiplied by 5/9. If we're multiplying fractions, it's a simple case of multiplying the numerators and multiplying the denominators together. That'll give us the answer. So 2 times 5 is 10, and then we have 7 times 9 is 63. We have 10 over 63 as our answer. As easy as that. Excuse me, question 15. 747 divided by 9. Use your short division method here. 9s into 7 don't go. Exchange 9s into 74. Well, 9 times 8 is 72. So that's 8 lots with 2 left over. 9s into 27, that's 3. Therefore, that basic method gets us the answer of 83. You'll start doing this in year 3 or 4. So this is all about practice, 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 practice. Here we have 3/16 plus 5/8. First problem here is we need to make sure the denominators are the same. So we're going to keep 3/16, but I've noticed that I can change 5/8 into 16ths. How do I do that? Well, 8, how do I get to 16? You multiply by 2. So we're going to do the same to the numerator here. 5 multiplied by 2, that's going to give us 10. And now the denominators are the same, we can just add up the numerators. And we get 13 over 16. That's the answer for that one. Question 17, this is where we're shifting our digits up and down, okay? So we have 0.3, think of our place value chart, the decimals never move, okay? Dividing, we're shifting the digits down because the digit's getting smaller, and it's dividing by 10, so it's just one place. So this 3 shifts down to the hundredths, and we just have to put in our placeholders. 0.03 will give us a mark for that question. Question 18. We have thirds and 6 and 18th. So we need to spot a common denominator here. And I realized that I can know in my 3 times table is 18. And in my 6 times table is 18. So I can just keep the last fraction as 18th. And then when they're all denominators of 18, we can add them up super easily. So 5/18 stays the same. We look at the 6 now. To get from 6 to 18, we multiply by 3. So do the same to the numerator. And we get 6/18 as an equivalent fraction. Now, how do I change 1/3 into 18th? Well, 3 times 6 is 18. Do the same to the top. 1 times 6 is going to be 6/18. So now we've got all of these here. We've got 6 plus 6 is 12, plus 5 is 17. Therefore, altogether, we have 17/18. It's as simple as that. Question 19. Oof, we're storming through this test, guys. Now, this is exactly like what we spoke about before. Line up your decimal places and then go from there. So firstly, we put the 16 point. Now our decimals are lined up. We're good to go. 1, 2, 5, everything's in the right place. This is subtraction though. So this is slightly more complicated. We've got blank, take away 5, or this would be a 0, and this would be a 0 for a placeholder. But the problem still happens. 0 take away 5 we can't do, and we can't exchange anything and take it from the hundredths column. So we have to go all the way over to the tenths and make this 4/10. But don't skip over, you can't do that. This has to become 10, and then we take from the 10. Once we've taken from the 10, we have 10 in the tenths, 10 in the thousandths now. 10 take away 5 is 5. 9 take away 2 is 7. 4 take 1 is 3. Decimal point, really important. 9 take 6 is 3. 2 take away 1 is 1. So the answer to that question is 13.375. This is exchanging past 0. Very common to come up at some point in the test, especially when you're lining up decimals with different numbers of decimal places and putting in those zeros. Very likely to come up, guys. Question 20. Look at this here. Show your method. This means that if we look over here as well at 2 marks, you're going to get a mark here if you show the correct method but make one mistake. So it's important to show your method for these questions. This is long multiplication. When we multiply something by 74, we're actually multiplying it by 4 and then multiplying it by 70, and then we're going to add up the 2 answers that we get. So let's start with a 4. 4 times 8 is 32. Now we don't have anything in the tenths, so 4 times 0, so I can just put the 3 straight in. 4 times 5 is 20, and again, I can just whack the 2 straight up because there's nothing left in the question for that row. Now when we're multiplying by 70, I really want to just multiply by 7. So to do that, I put a placeholder in. Now that I've made it 10 times bigger, I can just multiply by 7. 7 times 8 is 56, so I can put that in, and I can put the 5 straight up because 7 times 0 is just 0. And 7 times 5 at the end is 35. So I know now that I've got my 2 answers. To finish off, I'm going to add them up. And I'm in fact going to do it here. You could do it straight into the box. I would always recommend doing the full calculation and then copying it. Now I've got the answer directly into the box. 37,592. You don't have to put the comma in there. Sometimes children put a comma in and it looks like a decimal and you're going to get the answer wrong. So you have to make sure your commas are really clear. Question 21. 1/8 divided by 3. Now if we think about this, 1/8 divided by 3, and 3 is just 3 over 1. Okay, that's what 3 is. It's 3 over 1. So what we can do here, we can change it into a multiplication because we can flip over 3 over 1 and then therefore we'd be multiplying. So this would be 1 over 3. Now we've got this, we know when we multiply 2 fractions together, it's really easy. 1 times 1 is 1, 8 times 3 is 24. So the answer to this question is 1/24. Question 22, 1 plus 2/7 plus 5/7. Now this is what I want us to focus our attention on. 2/7 plus 5/7. Well, we know that's 7/7. So we've got 1 plus 7/7. But there's something really special about fractions that have the same numerator and denominator. That's because this is the same as 1 whole. So what we've really got here is 1 plus 1 whole, which gives us a nice round number as 2. Question 23. 70 plus 48 divided by 6. This is order of operations. You must do brackets and indices first, or orders. So that's to the power of 2 to the power of 3. You must do division and multiplication next. And then you do addition and subtraction last. So here, division takes precedence. We have to do it first. 48 divided by 6 is going to give us 8. Then we have to do the addition that's left over. Even though the addition symbol comes first, it doesn't matter. The answer here is 78. Order of operations. We need to know them. Question 24. 3.2 multiplied by 12. Now what we can do here, to be honest, guys, we can do 3.2 and we can multiply it by 12. Because we know our 12 times table, we can just treat it as one answer. Okay, so let me show you what I mean here. Bring the decimal down so it matches. 12 times 2 is 24, so we just exchange over. 12 times 3 is 36, plus the 2 is 38. Now, when you know the times table, you don't have to split this number. You can just treat it like the answer to the question, like we did there, 12 times 2 and 12 times 3. So the answer to this question is 38.4. Another way some people might have liked to do it is to multiply it by 10 and get 32, multiply it by 2 and get 6.4, and you add them up together. You'll get the same answer, doesn't matter. Here we have another one, another 2-mark question, and to show you're working. Guys, show you're working out here, because if you get it wrong, you still might get the correct answer. So 47 is what I'm dividing by. 1 lot of 47 is 47. 2 lots, if we double that, is 94. Now here's the thing. That's already more than what we're going to have to use to start with. Let me show you what I mean. So 61. Okay, 47, that's fine. 94 is too much. So we're going to write down 47 here and take out 1 lot of 47. So to do that, we subtract, and we do 1 take away 7 we can't do. So we're going to make it 11. 11 take away 7 is 4. 5 take away 4 is 1. And we bring this 1 down. So now we need to keep going until we get to 141. Well, luckily for us, if we add another 47 on, guess what? We get 141. So we know 3 lots is 141. So we can put a 3 here, take off the 141, and we see it goes perfectly. So there are 13 47s in 611. What a mouthful that is. Question 26. 5,746 divided by 5. Now, guys, this really is as simple as knowing your short division, how to do that, how to lay it out, and knowing your times table facts, okay? So 5s into 5 go once. 5s into 7 go once with 2 left over. 5s into 24, that goes how many times? 5s into 24 go 4 times with 4 left over. And here's where we get to the higher level thinking. 5s into 46 go 9 times and there's 1 left over. So do we just stop there? No, we put the decimal in, placeholder, and exchange over the 1. Make sure our decimal goes in our answer. 5s into 10 go twice and there's nothing left over. We stop there. So that's where it gets trickier when we're going past the decimal. So the answer to this question is 1,149.2. That's the exact answer to that question. Question 27, 52% of 700. Now the way I'm going to work this out is I'm going to work out 50%, and I'll come on to a shortcut for that in a second, and I'm going to work out 2%. Once I've got these two, I'm going to add them up. 50% is the same as 1/2. 1/2 of 700, if we are practicing our halving, we know it's 350. These are always good facts to know. 2%, well, okay, let's start off by thinking about this. 1%, we're going to divide 700 by 100. So 1% is 7. 2% is double that, which is 14. So what we need to do is add up 2% and 50%, which means we get 364 as our answer. We're nearly there, guys. We are storming through still. 1/3 divided by 6. Now this time, again, like we did earlier, 6 is the same as 6 over 1. So we can flip this over. So we'll keep 1/3. We're going to multiply, because we're flipping the second fraction, 1 over 6. Now it's really easy. 1 times 1 is 1. 3 times 6 is 18. The answer is 1/18. Question 29. Show your method, 2 marks. That means if you get this question wrong, but you show a perfect method, you can still get 1 mark if you've made just 1 error. So like earlier, when we're multiplying by 43, we're actually multiplying by 3 and multiplying by 40. Let's start off by multiplying by 3. 3 times 7 is 21. 3 times 2 is 6, plus the 2 is 8. 3 times 2 is 6, and 3 times 5 is 15. Now, I'm not multiplying by 40 really. I'm actually going to be multiplying by 4. So for that to work, I need to put a placeholder in. 4 times 7 is 28. So exchange over the 2. 4 times 2 is 8, plus the 2 is 10. Now we have 4 times 2 is 8 again, plus the 1 is 9. 4 times 5 is 20. We can whack that straight in. Now again, I would recommend finishing off your question here. I'm going to put it straight into my answers. 1 in the ones column, 16 in the tens, exchange over. 7, therefore, in the hundreds. We have 14 over here, exchange over, comes 2 in the 10,000s column, and then we have 2 left over here. 224,761. My goodness me, a huge answer. But guys, if we know how to answer this question, we know our times tables, we know how to lay it out. It's as simple as that. The only difference really here would be timings. The better you know your times tables, the quicker you'll be. 95% of 180. I'm going to show you a shortcut. If I can work out 5%, I can just do 100%, which is the whole number, take away 5%. So how can I work out 5%? Well, 10% of 180 is 18, because I divide by 10 for 10%. So 5% is half of 10%. So half of 18, you guessed it, is 9. So if I literally do 180, take away 9, that's going to give me the answer of 171, which is the correct answer. You could have done it a different way. You could have worked out 10%, multiplied that by 9, then worked out 5% and added it on. But either way, guys, we're going to have to work out 5%. We might as well just take it off 100% and get to the same answer and save time in this test. 0.4 multiplied by 37. Now, I'm going to show you a trick again. I'm going to turn 0.4 into just regular old 4. So let's start off. 37 multiplied by 4. This becomes a really easy question. 7 times 4 is 28. And 4 times 3 is 12, plus the 2 is 148. So we've got 148 there, which is fantastic. But the question was 0.4. We actually made it 10 times bigger. So to correct our answer now, we need to take this answer and do the inverse of multiply by 10. We need to divide by 10 and make it work perfectly for us, which is 14.8. So we can make changes to a number. Multiplying by 4 is a lot easier than multiplying by 0.4, but we have to correct this multiply by 10 at the end and divide it by 10. So the answer to that question is 14.8. Now we've got 1 whole take away something equals 7/10. Now the key here is to realize we can change 1 whole into 10/10. Remember I said earlier, if the numerator and denominator are the same, it's 1 whole. What do I take away from 10 to get to 7/10? Well, we know the denominator is going to be tenths, and we take away 3 of them. 10 take away 3 is 7. So you can put 3/10 here. Technically, if you put 0.3, that's also correct, but just stick to fractions, guys. Let's not complicate it. It's another one, a 2-mark question. Show your method. Now, in this case, the second time, it's usually trickier. Last time, we only needed 2 or 3 lots. I feel like we're going to need a lot more of it this time. So 1 lot of 26. We start by drawing a little bit of a fact box here. 2 lots are 52. Now, straight away, I noticed that's too much because, look, 44. So we can only fit 1 lot of 26 in. So we're going to put our 1 lot at the top, and we're going to do 44 take away 26. And we end up here, 14 take away 6 is 8. 3 take away 2 is 1. And we bring down the 7. So we need to get close to 187 now. So I'm going to skip past 3. I'm going to go to 4, because 4 is double 2. So we know 4 lots is 104. Okay, we still don't have enough. I'm going to go to 6 lots, because 6 lots is 2 lots plus 4 lots. 104 plus 152. We get 156. Now that's getting closer. Let's add on another 26 and see if we still have too much or not. 7 lots, so we add on another 26 here. We get 26 plus 156 gets us to 182. Perfect. That's as close as we need to get. So we're going to take off 182. We're going to say, that is 7 lots. And we're going to see what's left over. The 100 and the 80 cancel out. 7 take away 2 is 5. We bring down the 2. And luckily for us, look, it fits perfectly. 2 26s are 52. So we put 2 lots at the top. And we have nothing left over. 172 fits perfectly. Amazing. Just a few questions left now, guys. Question 34. 2 and 5 6 take away 3/4. Again, make the denominators the same. So what number can you think of that's in the 6 times table and the 4 times table? If you're struggling to think of a number, just multiply them together. It will always work. So 24 works. So 6 times 4 is 24. Do the same to the 5. That would give us 20 over 24. And then here we have 3/4. So we're going to be taking away something over 24. We did 4 times 6. I didn't mean to do that. Ignore that line. 4 times 6 is 24. So do the same to the top and we get 18. Now this is good because it's quite a simple one. Put the 2 in here. So we've just rewritten the question, but now the denominators are the same. And luckily for us, 20 take away 18 is easy to do. The answer is 2 wholes and 2 24ths left over. That is the same as 112. Just leave it as it is. There's no need, guys. You could simplify it, absolutely fine, but it's the same answer. This is the same as 2 and 112. Question 35. 38% of 750. There's not really a shortcut to this one. So let's work out 10%. To work out 10% of a number, we divide by 10. So this is 75. Now I want to work out, for my sake, 40%. Now, some of you might realize why I'm doing this. Why am I doing this? Well, I'll tell you in a second. Have a think. 40% is 4 lots of 75, which gets us to 300. Now, why is 40% really useful? Because it's so close to 38. So I'm going to take off 2%, and that'll give you my answer. So over here, I'm going to work out what 2% is. 2% is double 1%, and 1% is always easy to work out. 750 divided by 100. That gets us 7.5 or 7.5. So double that gets us to 15. So I know all I need to do now is go to 40%, take away 2%, and the answer is 285. So well done there if you put 285. Again, guys, you could have done it a different way. You could have worked out 30%, worked out 1%, and then managed to get up to 8 and added that on. Lots of different ways to do percentage questions. It's down to you what you think is the best way. This is always really interesting to me because when we see 2/3 multiplied by a number, what we're really doing is a fraction of an amount. We can swap in multiply with of. This is the same as 2/3 of 900. So really we could write it like this. What is 2/3 of 900? Well, we know how to do fraction of an amount. We divide by denominator. So we're going to do 900 divided by 3. Use your times table facts. 9 divided by 3 is 3. But let's make it 100 times bigger. Now I've divided by the denominator. I actually want 2/3 though. So I'm going to multiply by the numerator. 300 times 2, that gets us to 600. A nice shortcut there, something that really does throw children off, is that the multiplication sign can be swapped with of when you're doing a fraction of an amount question. And that is the end of the test. Guys, 4 2-mark questions. Hopefully this really helped you. I'm going to go back to the full screen really quickly. Let us know in the comments if you want to see the reasoning papers, because we will do them for you. But you've got to tell us. If you enjoyed it, like the video, subscribe, turn the bell on. We're going to do loads more videos. Get in the comments and tell us what you want to see. Guys, thanks for watching. See you next time.